All right. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Uh, it makes me feel like back to the university days when we used to, give presentations and all that. But I think we've crossed that stage, and now it's the biggest step for all of us. And I hope you guys can learn from me, and I can also learn from you guys. So it's a two-way street. So without a further ado, let's start with the presentation. So I hope you all know that I'm going to talk about blogging because one of my basic expertise includes, content writing, blog posts, and content creation. So today I would be, talking about that. So let me share my screen. All right. So can everybody see this?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
All right. Great. So blogging as a marketing tool, that's what we are going to talk about today. So let's begin. So I took the keywords that we are going to talk about. First of all, we need to understand what blog post looks like. And then we will be talking about blogging techniques, blog examples, tips, and implementation. Because these days, a lot of people tell us that what should we do and how can we, make our marketing techniques better and better. But nobody tells us how to do that actually. So I've taken real life examples from my work, and I'll be showing you those examples just to create a harmony between us in order to understand how blog posts work. So to start with, let's understand the background. So as marketers, we both spend a lot of time searching and testing the best strategies, tips, tactics, tools that others also have used to build and grow successful businesses. But like I said, nobody tells us how to do that, so we'll be talking about that. So each month we come across hundreds of new blog posts, articles, case studies, and that's the routine life. While we are scrolling our Facebook, Instagram, we come across such posts. So there's a lot that we can soak up and learn, but here's the problem. How do we know that who are we going to trust, and where to start, what actually works, and how to apply what we learn from our own business? For example, in everyday life, from our daily life, we make mistakes. Um, we do blunders at times as well, but it's very important to know that how we can correct our mistakes, how we can learn from our mistakes, and how we can implement a good strategy to not to make that mistake again. So we'll begin with that. So like I said, I'll be talking about my real life examples from work. So it will be easier for both of us to understand, and it will be easier for me to make you guys understand what I'm going to talk about. So yeah. So we have different channels where we can, create blog posts, generate content, generate leads. So a few examples like email marketing, we have blog posts themselves, social media, GMB posts like Google My Business posts. But one thing is common in all these channels, that's content part. Because obviously we have to write something, we have to generate something, we have to create something creative to get people's attention and make people to read what we are writing. So that's the agenda behind all these channels, and we'll see how we can prioritize and what technique and what platform is better than the other. So why blogs are effective? when you write a blog post, obviously you spend a lot of time in brainstorming what you should write about, and what should be your targeted audience, and who would be the people who would want to read your post. So that keeps you focused. when your focused is when your focus is there, everything is aligned. You know your strategy, you know your elements that you're going to include in order to create a better blog post for your website or whatever the business you have. And the second part is, when you create a content, you can splinter that easily. For example, if you're writing a one blog post, you can use the same content for multiple channels. You can send that content in an email, or make an email sequence as well. And you can use the same content for your social media posts. Just like sometimes it becomes difficult and hard to write a perfect caption for your post, and especially when you are uh, uploading posts on Instagram and Facebook. So what you can do, you can open your previous blog post that you've already written, and you can go through the content and take the hook line. So I use the term hook line because I hope a lot of people know about that. And uh, so in order to understand what hook line is, that's where you get attention from people. For example, if you're writing about fashion, you can take a tagline like, for example, you can talk about any famous model, you can talk about any famous brand, and it's just about creating something interesting just to get people's attention. So your hook line should be there in your blog post. In each blog post there should be one to two hook lines. So like I said, it can be reused for emails, for different social media posts like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. uh, you can use the same piece of content for different platforms. So let me show you my example, what I've done, so you'll be able to understand it in a better way. All right, so I created this blog post, um, and I've done and created a lot of blog posts, and this is one of those. I had the same strategy. I had the same elements, same tips and techniques to generate leads for my previous clients. So I just want you guys to get benefit from this. So that's why I have included this example. So whenever you're writing, so like, you have to think about the topic you're going to know about your audience. Like I gave an example of fashion. So you are going to target those audience who you think are more interested in fashion. So what would be the ages, like 18 to 30? So that's how you get to know about these demographics. So when you're designing a post for a particular audience, you want to keep that in mind, that this is going for these people, and I have to keep my language according to their standards. For example, if you're talking to a teenage, he wouldn't understand a poetic language. When you're going to talk to a adult, your language would be a little decent. And for example, we talk to our friends, hey, what's up? And when we talk to our boss, we go like, good morning, how are you doing? So see the difference. So it is very important to know who your audience is, what your topic is, and what is the main agenda of creating or writing a blog post. So I've created this. I would read out the steps so that it would make more sense to you. Step one, find a great blog post on a topic you would like to write about that already exists, one that has been linked to and shared hundreds of thousands of times. You can figure this out using a tool like BuzzSumo. So BuzzSumo is the tool which you can use in order to, create a creative piece of content. Now, step two would be read through the post and ask yourself, could you make it better by adding more depth to it? Sometimes we write, so that's usually our first draft. I'm a poet, I write poetry. So whenever I'm writing, I have this thing in my mind. If I'm writing this particular piece of writing at this point of time, I know I can make it better tomorrow. I know I can make it better day after tomorrow. So each read after you have created your first draft, you would go through that again, and then that would give you a new idea, that would give you a new inspiration. You can add more to it, you can play around with words, you can play around with your strategy. So that's the step two. And step three would be compile a list of websites, blogs, and people you can send your post to once it goes live. So, what I usually do, I write my poetry and send that to my poet friends who also write poetry. So they would, give me suggestions. You can make this change. You can talk about this. You can add this word instead of this. So this is a good thing when you are, working in the same business, or I'm speaking in terms of poetry, but you'll be working in terms of business. For example, your niche is roofing. It could be about cars. It could be about, homeowners. So even within the RepStack team, you can talk to your friends and you can discuss that, I'm working with this kind of business. Today I'm going to write about cars. Today I'm going to write about, fashion, food, or anything. So you'll be, when you have this conversation with your friends, you might get an idea, or might get few hints, might get some tips in order to make your content better. So it's always good to share your content before you actually go ahead and post it on the website. So that's the step three. So the tools that you can use: Penflip, BuzzSumo, Boomerang for Gmail. And examples of use: email marketing post from Vero, the Google's 200 ranking factors post from Brian Dean, the free image sources post from Buffer. So I've been using these tools for creating a crisp content, and it is actually helping me a lot. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So whenever you get a free time, you can give it a read. Like Vero's epic post break down the skyscraper technique and how to get more traffic from every post. So that's one example, and it will really help you in creating a crisp piece of content. So moving forward, so like I said, it is easily usable, reusable. You can splinter the content, revamp it, and it will help you generate more leads. So this is another example from my work. So I created this blog post. You see, it has the same structure, it has the same strategy, same planning of posting. And what I did, from the same content, same piece of content, I was able to, create these posts for Facebook. So you see, there are almost 11 posts which I created for Facebook just from these few paragraphs. So that's how you can, work with your content. And that's the reason I said, when you have created your first draft, you have to read it again and again so that you can create more and more and make it better. And from the same post, I was able to create Instagram posts as well. So you see how I revamped the content. So you just see the language as well. Now you don't have to worry about creating new content for blog post. Pick a few questions, answer them, and have your new blog post ready. So you see the hashtags: new blog post for roofers USA, revamp, revamp roofing content. And this is the language for Instagram. For Facebook, are your prospects, customers asking you the same question over and over again, and you are trying to save time? Create a blog post where you can cover all those questions once and for all. So it's like I talked about language structure. So that really matters. When you know your audience, it will automatically have you uh, create the content in a certain way that that it would grab more people's attention, and that's how it works. And from the same post, I was able to create scripts. I had my client to record his videos using the same. We didn't have to, work through it again. I just created the script and asked my client to record a video, and he used the same script. I revamped it and used this content to make a video. So you have videos, you have Instagram posts, you have Facebook posts, you have LinkedIn posts, and you have GMB posts as well. So that's how blog posts help you in your, social media presence. I'll talk about that as well. And that's how you can actually use the same piece of content in a new way, depending on the platform that you're using it for. So creating a bigger online presence. When you have, when you're working in different channels, emails, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google My Business, or even for website, so these about, so one blog post can be used for multiple purposes in order to have an intact social media presence. So when you have a social media presence, obviously it will help you generate more leads. It will help your business grow, and it will also help you to connect with more people. So that's how your social media presence you and generating more leads. And next we so backlinks. When you're writing a blog, when you're creating a blog post, you I don't know if you're working with your clients or if you have experience working with different people who focus on backlinks. This is the passive money. When you have let's see what I've written here. The Google algorithm considers when ranking a site on its search engine result page. So many experts and small business owners also believe backlinks to be the third most crucial factor in search engine optimization. So we hear a lot about SEO writing, SEO techniques, best SEO practices. So backlinks, that's where the backlinks help you, and keywords as well. I'm not going to go in detail about SEO, but I'm relating it with the blogs and backlinks. Although generating inbound links is essential, 41% of SEO experts say link building is the most challenging part of search optimization. So when you create articles that are not only valuable to your potential customers, but also to other companies that your audience sees as industry leaders, it would be easier to gain relevant links. So like I said, when you have social media presence, obviously people would get back to you when they would see your post on Instagram, when they would see your post on Facebook, LinkedIn, and if your content is interesting, they would talk to you and maybe ask you for partnership or give you more leads in order to generate your revenue. So that's where backlinks work and help you. So links for authoritative websites serve as a vote of confidence or recommendation from other websites as well. And it signals to Google that you are trustworthy and an expert in your industry. So when you have the specific keywords in your content, Google is going to read that. Google is going to use that keyword and pull out details, and Google is then going to trust you. Yes, he's not a machine. He's a person who knows how to work with his or her business, and he's quite expert at that. Another benefit of backlinks is that they help you build your domain authority, which helps improve your overall discoverability in search engines. So, like I talked about, Google My Business posts. So when you have, I'm working on Google My Business GMB posts, you call it. These days, I'm working on those. So I'm sharing my personal experience. So there's this client who had his ranking on 12th. Uh, the when we type a certain keyword on Google, it gives you multiple results. So that client was on 12th position. But with the two, I think I post make I make two GMB posts each week, and now his ranking has he's ranking on third number. So it's all about keywords, best content, and your content strategy. And I think that's all from my side. So if you are still confused about something, if you do not understand a particular thing, what I've talked about, you can ask questions or go ahead.
Thank you so much, Fahad. If anybody have any question, please go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
The pie chart you have made for the website and the social media accounts. So you have given percentage of 13.3, I guess, to all the social media platform. So doesn't it
No,
vary from business to business?
No, that was just a general example. It's not
Okay.
the accurate result. Just give you an idea how social media and website results work. So
Okay.
that's why I use that chart.
Okay, but it varies from business to business, right?
Exactly.
Anybody else have any question?
Ask me your I will.
Guys, if you have any question, Fahad will be more than happy to answer them. This is your chance. So if you haven't understood anything or there is something in your mind that you want to ask, Fahad is here to help you out. Please go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes, Faraz, go ahead.
Hi, Fahad. Uh, I wanted to ask if like you do SEO as well, you write content, you've been writing content for a while now. So is there like what's the average time to get your website to the top of the rankings or improve the rankings? Like is there like an average time, or is it dependent on any other aspect or factor?
So that basically depends on your strategy. Like I mentioned about Google GMB posts. So I create and make two posts each week. So just in 3 weeks, my ranking came from 12th to number 3. So that's the strategy I used. So you can make your strategy if you want to post like 3 images a week, if you want to post one image, or maybe every day, excluding Sunday and Saturday and Sundays. So you will have different results. So it actually depends on number of postings and quality of the content. Does
Hi,
that
Yes,
answer your
Fahad.
it
question?
does. And is there a word count that like you keep your content in between when you're posting, like, or is it something that you just meet certain requirements, you check certain boxes, and you're like, this piece of content is good to go?
Again, it would depend on your niche. Like if you're working with your with cars, if you're working with doctor's appointments or medical. So basically, it depends on your niche that you're working on. If you have your demographics set in place, you know your target audience, you know your topic, you know about your business. So the content that you would create would would actually be uh, representing your business. So if you know your business, what's your business? For example, um, I'm going to a restaurant. I would, what I would do, I would to the restaurant, I would read reviews, and I would see if this would be a good option for me to have dinner or lunch, whatever. So it actually depends what kind of business you have, and it depends how you play with words. So I'll give you my example. Currently, I'm working with one of the clients in the US. So he's very specific about his content. You know, I have experience of creating content for about 4 or 5 years. But whenever I create something or write something, he would just, I feel like he has this magic brush. So when I give him my content, he would do something and just play around with words, and he would just and because he knows about his business, So it's when you know about your business, when you know about your strategies, you'll be able to create best piece of content. That's how I would put it.
Fahad, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so what makes a good Google My Business post? Can you explain that, elaborate that a little bit?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
What make
Google My Business.
Yeah, what makes a good Google My Business post? I think you mentioned a Google My Business post
Yeah.
in your presentation. I kind of want to know more about that. What's the process behind it? How do you, know that you're gonna write a good post? How will it rank? Can you tell me a little bit more of that?
Yeah, so when you're working with GMB posts, first of all, your images should be relevant. Like I'm working with um, bails and lawyers and attorneys. So my images would, have a picture or portray a jail, portray hands behind the bars, portray a person who's quite depressed, and that would portray something related to jail and a person who's trying to get out of the jail. So that's the basic agenda behind creating an image. So the second part is geotagging. I don't know if you know about that. So when I create an image, I geotag that image to the specific office. So we use a tool for geotagging as well. So that's a pro
Got
tip. You can go ahead without geotagging, but I geotag my images. And when you type on the Google bail boys or something related to bail, my image would be on the top because it is geotagged to that specific location. So that's how I, work with GMB posts. So your image and then content as well.
Thank you.
So the content would be, depicting more relevant to the audience.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Did I answer your question? Thank you.
Yes, I got it. Thank you so
Anyone else?
Hey, Fahad. I have one question. I just wanted to, as per my understanding, more of these blog posts actually help you in search engine optimization and, writing blog posts on your social media or something. So is there any way that, we can be benefited from this thing, from blog posting and all of this content in cold outreach when we are, just getting to the customer who does not know about us, and it is more like a cold outreach thing. So do you think this content posting or the blog posting can benefit us as well?
So you're linking blog posts with cold outreach.
That's
Is
right.
that what you're saying?
That's right.
I would say it can help you in a certain way to a limit, because when you're writing something that's for the and also include email sequence as well. So I would say for email sequence, if you create something for cold outreach, if you're going to create an email sequence, so I think it can really help you in generating more leads in terms of email sequence. So yeah, it can
Got
help
it.
you there.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I think we are done. Thank you so much, Fahad, for your time. If anybody else have a question, they can reach you out on Slack and you can respond them there. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Anytime.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Fahad.
Fahad.
Thank you, Fahad.
Thank you.